One of my favorite topics ever is wealth creation. It's actually a module on my Supernatural You course. I get very excited talking about wealth creation because it involves responsibility to make money. I love the word responsibility, because it really speaks to people who are alive. As long as you're alive, you're expected to do things. And when you do things, there's a responsibility to keep doing. So I love, to talk about wealth creation. Many years ago, when I was younger, the narrative, the teaching, there was a lot being taught on wealth transfer. And I always say that I'm a why Christian, okay? So if you're not a Christian and you're listening to me, it's not even about that. I'm a why kind of person. I like to understand why you are giving me a principle. I want to understand what, it's leading to. So now in the present time, it's called your why, isn't it? So your why is what makes you get out of bed. You don't get to your why if you don't even know how to. So I love to talk about wealth creation because I never really could buy into the fact that somebody else makes wealth and what you do is you're waiting to get it from them. I knew that that couldn't be right. That you just wait to get the wealth of someone just because they're not Christians. No, that's not how it was intended. And I think it's a misinterpretation of scripture. And I finally got myself, freed up from that when I began to understand that you can't even judge somebody unrighteous, just because, they're not moving in your level of revelation or faith. And that's not right. You haven't given them the opportunity to buy into what you have. If you haven't given them that opportunity, you have no right to write them off. So here's what, recently the Lord said something to me that I love to share as well, that it is illegal to be broke. Do you know why it's illegal to be broke? Because wealth is now a mandate. What's a mandate? Is an instruction. It's an instruction that you become wealthy. This is not even about riches, okay? Because riches, when you're rich, your money can dissipate. You can spend it all, waste it all. But when you are wealthy, here's the difference between riches and wealth. Wealth is something that is transferable. So you have transferred your earnings, your effort to like at least 3 generations. Do you know how you can do that? By the choices that you make in life. No matter how young you are. I mean, Richard Branson was 17 when he came out of school and, went into become an entrepreneur. So the choices you make in life then determine, the trajectory of your life. Here's what Robert Kiyosaki said. I love, thought leaders. And here's what he said. He said, the single most powerful asset we have is our mind. He says, if trained well, it can create enormous wealth. I'm very particular about the mind as well. I also teach on mind mapping, mining on my courses and design thinking, because that is the realm of God, realm of greatness. So he says, the single most powerful asset we have is our mind. And if you train your mind well, it can create enormous wealth, which then tells you that your wealth is in your mind, right? And this is a decade, right, where there's been a shift from the natural economy we understand to digital economy. How are you going to participate in that? How are you going to go from desiring to be rich to desiring to be wealthy? You could just be a teenager, all right, and your startup gets you so much money. Guess what? Right as a teenager, you can already become wealthy by the choices, investment choices that you make. What am I trying to say to us? I'm trying to say 2 things. You have to have expectation of creating wealth now, and you have to have expectation of managing your wealth. You have to have an expectation of obeying that instruction that you've got to be wealthy, right? The Bible says that God's given us the power to make wealth. And it doesn't even matter what, who you are, what you do. The principle is you have the power. You have what it takes. You have a mind that you can train to become a wealthy ecosystem, and it becomes a mind that conceives the inconceivable, right? You are able to come up with ideas like Jack Ma that, or Elon Musk that set you apart and set your generations apart. Now, here's what Robert Kiyosaki says again. He says the only difference between a rich person and a poor person is how they use their time. That's amazing. So for somebody who is coming into wealth creation lifestyle. So that becomes your preoccupation, but it doesn't take you over. You don't become self absorbed. I'm talking about something you have to come into as a culture. So your belief system in this era of a time is that I have to be a wealthy person, because it's an instruction. Wealth is a mandate now, right? And you can make money from your kitchen table. You can make money from your car. You can make money from your loo even. All you need is functional internet. Accessibility is there, and your mind, okay? Self-belief, and self coming out of self-sabotage and all the limiting thoughts in the mind that make you feel you got to be like anybody else. You need to design your mind to think great, to think wealthy, and then it becomes a healthy ecosystem that can take your thinking seriously and shift them from mere thoughts into actualizable, right? Actualizable goals. Once you have those goals, you put your energy to those goals, right? So your time is allotted to your goal. You heard what Robert Kiyosaki said, that the Kiyosaki says that the difference between a rich person and a poor person is time management. So that is a principle you bring into your life, okay? So now let me give you very quickly 7 truths that I have on my, like I said, I teach on wealth creation. 7 truths that you have to be aware of, right? Concerning wealth. Wealth is God's idea. Wealth came with creation. A wealthy ecosystem was created at the beginning. Wealth is God's gift to man. Wealth creation is by choice, and progressively it's given to you to understand the mysteries, okay? What's never been thought, what's never been understood, and that's how you're going to have to function, going forward. Here's what Jack Ma says that blew my mind when I came across this. Okay, I'm talking to someone who has to, pivot from thinking about riches. Okay, I need $10,000. I need $20,000. To someone who's going to be thinking bigger than that, I need to create something that's never been created. That's going to give me, the kind of money that I can transfer, 3 generations, so I can bequeath this to somebody that's coming after me, even children you've not had, so planning is a big part of wealth creation. You see what I'm saying? So healthy mind, intentionality, ability to plan, ability to use time wisely, and ability to see ahead of you. This is why the mind is really the biggest deal for this era. Okay, so Jack Ma of Alibaba, here's what he says. He says, we are never in lack of money. Why? He says, we lack people with dreams who can die for those dreams. So what's Jack Ma saying? Jack Ma saying is all we need is people who are going to believe in themselves that they can create wealth, and not people who are waiting to receive wealth that's been created by someone else. So you're not Xing yourself out of innovation, creative ways of, reimagining things, and, just being able, to produce something from your mind that, fulfills the law of attraction, that is going to get people, attracted to you, what you've created. Miles Monroe, I like thought leadership, like I said. Miles Monroe says money is pursued, riches is created, wealth is created. Now, let me tell you what I teach, okay? Wealth is in your mind. It's all about a thought. When your mind is healthy, you can come up with that thought, the confidence to pursue it, it becomes a dream, and getting yourself trained. Personal development is a big thing. Getting yourself trained in the area of your dream so you're not absent in your dream. Your dream is you and you are your dream. So you're right there to fulfill those goals that you already have set for yourself. You're not going to spiritualize it. You're not going to, radicalize it, but you're going to be right there taking your idea, from the mind to the streets, to the labs, whatever, take it through the process. You're training for it, you're getting better at it, and that's it. That idea brings you. And think about investment. It's an idea that when put together, it attracts investors. A good idea attracts investors. So this is how you're going to have to live your life in this era. Be consumed with the things that matter most. And one of the things that matter most is that you create wealth. You're expected in this phase of time to be one that is consumed with being able to create wealth, because a wealthy person, is a healthy person. A wealthy nation is a healthy nation. And then you can be a problem solver. Don't wait to inherit wealth others have created. If that comes to you, great. But see yourself as someone that can distinguish yourself, that has what it takes to do what's never been done, and then that brings you wealth. Remember, we're not talking about riches, because that you can spend, but it's good to be rich. That gives you enough money that can be planned on, but your target is to be wealthy, right? So you go from being a rich person to a wealthy person. And this has nothing to do with biological age. In fact, you start even early. I say to my son, you've got to plan to retire at age 30. It is possible. And you could even do that earlier. It's just what you do with what you're able to innovate. So I hope this helps someone out there to become the next Jack Ma or the next Elon Musk, right?